Hello. Election time, and I've done this before on previous elections, so let's do it again. Let's run through what we've got, right? Actually, all of these were delivered on one day, the other day, and then I've had this one today. So I thought, as I've done it in as I've done it on the run-up to previous general elections, we'll do it again. Go through what we've got now. Let's put him there. So, on Thursday, we'll be voting. And for change. But only if you vote for Keir Starmer will you be voting for change. Now, we'll go with this one, right? Because this is actually, this is from the desk of Jonathan Ashworth. And Keir Starmer is saying, in Leicester South, I am asking you to vote for Jonathan Ashworth. Right? I don't understand this because I'm not a political person. I'm literally just reading what I've got here. Oh, by the way, disclaimer, my thoughts and opinions, and also, I swear, don't follow politics, do not know the ins and outs. Please, if, feel free to correct me on anything in the comments. But this is the bollocks that we're dealing with, right? This is what made me want to do this video. The rest of them are just sort of side notes. Now, as I've said before, I am not voting. I will not vote. I'm not registered to vote. I don't have the ID to go and vote. Right, and I said in the video yesterday, just from Anne Widdecombe's speech that I'd seen yesterday, I would have gone for reform. Actually, sod it. We're going to do a carry-on with this. Also, disclaimer, a tangent, right? Still need to do that video on wheelie bins. It'll happen one day. Right, and then, but I have one for reform. Now, Anne Widdecombe really had me hooked on that, the speech that she did. She was talking about common sense and all of this lot. No, would not, looking at this, would not at all vote for reform. Reform. It depends how you say it, doesn't it? Right? Because this is a world away from Anne Widdecombe. The way Anne Widdecombe sold it. I was sold by Anne Widdecombe. This, immigration needs reform. The immigration election. Only Reform UK will freeze immigration. And there are three things. Freeze non-essential immigration. Stop the boats and leave the ECHR. And stop the illegal working scandal. I don't want to vote for that. Couldn't give less of a shit. Like, literally. Do you know what I mean? I live in Leicester, and I am an ethnic minority where I live, right? There is a hotel in Leicester that houses immigrants and whatever. And yes, I have, experienced some negativity with foreigners. My daughter's been out and out attacked in the street, but it's like literally, I don't know what their ultimate plan is, but there's a plan to immigration. It's us that are doing that, in my personal opinion. Do you know what I mean? We are inviting these people in. We pay for them. We give them everything. We give an incentive for these people to come here. Do you know what I mean? If you were born here, you're fucked, mate. Monetary-wise, housing-wise, job-wise. If you come here by boat, mate, make it rain. You get everything. And they do videos where they tell each other how you get this shit. Do you know what I mean? It's bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Right? So, no. I mean, I've never seen that other whitey, Richard Tice. He looks a bit... Nigel Farage just looks a bit like he looks quite benign, really. He looks like a dippy old sod who you'd have fun with down the pub, and I wouldn't mind going down the pub and having a pint with a guy. You know, he seems like he might be interesting to talk to, other than, you know, I wouldn't mind having a pint with Keir Starmer, but that'd be boring as fuck, or Rishi Sunak. It's like sitting there and just looking at somebody and trying to have a conversation with somebody that you know can do nothing about telling the truth. You know, they will literally sit there and lie their face off to your face. And I think that Nigel Farage would actually come out with some intelligent conversation. I'm not keen on just the look of that man. And I'm not keen on, you know, you're not going to get me with that. You're not going to get, you know, or you're not going to get me with anything. But Anne Widdecombe, she'd got it. But yeah, that just seems racist to me. Which, at the end of the day, these have told me that I've got to think. We've got the Green Party, Sharman Rahman. Oh, mate, please tell me that's how you pronounce her name, Sharman Rahman. That is fucking wicked, if so. The Green Party. The Conservatives are going to lose. Trust. You know, the Conservatives have designed it so that they lose. Like, the whole national conscription thing was brought in to get to people against the Tories, like they need to be. But there are still people who support the Tories. And literally, I think it's because people are so fucking frightened of Labour getting in that there's no other option but to keep the Tories in there. No matter how bad they're doing, it's like better the devil you know, right? Anyway, vote Green, real hope, real change. Defend the NHS. Push for proper funding. Bring down waiting times and ensure everybody can see a dentist and a GP. Affordable homes for everyone in the right place. Like, you pie in the sky shit. This ain't going to happen because there's still it's the banks that run it, not the governments. And back an immediate ceasefire in Israel and Gaza. Now, pretty much everybody's done that, but everybody said Gaza except for the Green Party who say Israel as well. And, yeah. I think Israel can look after themselves, to be fair. Well, ain't they protected by God? Ain't they the chosen ones? Or is that America? Protect our seas and rivers from sewage dumping. Defend nature and urgently tackle the climate emergency. Right, you're gone because you believe in climate change, and that's just utter crap because it's been going since, the 70s at least. Global warming used to be called. Didn't fucking happen because the globe weren't getting any warmer. They changed it to climate change, and it's advertised from there. The protesters are allowed to protest publicly because they're on their side. They're doing their bidding. You know what I mean? They are making us see what they want us to see. Them being them bastard. Them being the people who hold the strings to all of these puppets. Every single one. You know, on the stage. The people behind the curtain. We need Toto. Carol Weaver is Liberal Democrats again. Cost of living crisis. This one found quite interesting. Restoring Britain's international reputation. Mate, we're jokes on the world stage. That ain't going to happen. Piss off over to Germany and see what the football fucking hooligans are doing, mate. We're never going to be seen as anything other than stupid on the world stage. Have you ever met Rishi Sunak? Have you ever listened to the bloke speak? Keir Starmer won't get us any more credibility. We had Bojo, for fuck's sake. We had Cameron, who fucked a pig's head for jollies to get him in with the boys. Yeah, ain't buying any of it. And then again, this is again anti-Tory, anti-thing. We're the only one to bring change. Then we've got two. Shokat Adam. I'm sorry if I've spelled his name wrong. I missed him. He actually, him or somebody with him knocked on my door. I think. But I was in bed at the time. Don't knock on my door in the morning, basically. These two and Osman G. Admani, right? These are both independent candidates. Now, I would vote for one of these two if I was going to vote for anybody. Except Shokat, reduce the cost of living. I will fight to. You won't do it. Because at the end of the day, we're run by the banks, and they are the ones that orchestrated this. Reduce the cost of living crisis, tackle the housing crisis, and protect tenants from rogue landlords. Cracking, again, protect the NHS, support Gaza and global peace. Go on, Shaka. You've got to admire his tenacity and his sheer bravado. But at the end of the day, it's people that believe that they can change the world who are the ones who actually do it. Do you know what I'm saying? Push for cheaper energy. Again, it's the people above the governments who have done this. It wasn't... The government's just, like the Tories, aren't responsible for the cost of living crisis. They're the ones who it was done under the name of, because they were in power when them bastards created this cost of living crisis. It's like, which is all like for greed, we keep getting new billionaires popping up everywhere. Billionaires whose wealth is just fucking increasing exponentially while poor people are getting poorer. It's, it's coming from one place and going to another. It's going up there. And literally, we can fight it together and cracking, but it's not the government's fault. If you get in, you still work for the same masters. Do you know what I mean? But then at the bottom, support local businesses, address issues that affect businesses in Leicester South, like mine. Okay, so you're in it for yourself then. But he wants to do something for everybody else as well. Cracking. Again, Osman is challenging waste of taxpayers' money. So, like useless PPE and jabs that are killing people. Allegedly. Sorry. My thoughts and opinions. Disclaimer. The fact that it's backed by science and statistics don't matter. So he's pledging to focus on cost of living crisis, proper NHS investment. They're all saying the same thing. Do you know what I mean? I ain't got one from the Tories. That's unusual, isn't it? You'd think they'd be... but I bet they'd say exactly the same thing. Do you know what I mean? It's that they're the government that it's happening underneath. You know what I mean? We've got a cost of living crisis. Why is the government or anybody saying, right, okay, well, let them have their bread and circuses, don't charge them extra when they're currently enjoying Netflix and currently enjoying Amazon? Don't all of a sudden put another charge on there. You've got to pay us extra, and YouTube. You've got to pay us to not advertise to you. We don't need that when we're in a cost of living crisis. And the adverts are for things you've got to spend on, which we ain't got the money to spend on because we're in a cost of fucking living crisis. And literally the last thing that we can fucking spend any money on is stopping adverts. And the adverts are depressing. They've got gambling adverts in there, which is just going to fuck everything anyways. It's all done by design, and it's all done above the governments. We've got Labour, we've got independent candidates, we've got the Tories, and we've got them bastards who've got them all by the bloody neck. And nobody can do anything unless it benefits them. There's somebody in Parliament who sits there to make sure that every single thing that goes through Parliament benefits the banks. If anything doesn't benefit the banks, it ain't allowed to go through. Let's have a look. Keir Starmer and Jonathan Ashworth, right? Labour will deliver economic stability. Deliver economic stability, not fight for it. Cut NHS waiting times. Launch a new border security command. Set up Great British Energy. What does that mean? Set up Great Britain. Right, okay, I really need to... No, I don't. I don't need to follow politics. But if you know what Great British Energy is, does that mean that there's a new energy provider coming out that set up Great British Energy? I'm sorry, but that's lost on me. I ain't an expert, obviously, but that's lost. Crack down on antisocial behaviour. To be fair, we don't get a lot of that around here. I'm quite lucky. Very lucky, to be fair. There's a lot of it in town. But, recruit 6,500 no teachers. Yeah, because that's what we need. We need the kids to be to be properly educated so that they grow up and think that nothing can be done and agree with what he's just put here at the beginning. There are 2 governments possible after this election and 2 versions of Britain. 2. So all of these other people don't fucking exist. According to Spam Face. Ham Face. Honey glazed ham face. Spam as well. Looks like a bit of spam. Oh God, it makes my skin crawl. And he's a sir. You know, like he isn't on the ground with your working class man. He's a sir. And you know what I think of sirs? They should automatically be investigated for, you know what I'm thinking, because they're all sirs. The big ones. Savile and that lot. I have changed the Labour Party, putting it back in the service of working people. What, did Jeremy Corbyn make it for the rich then? Or like, are you talking about Blair here? Who the fuck made the Labour Party not for working people? So and then it's a sir that is going to make it for. Anyway, I know that Jonathan Ashworth will stand up for you and for Leicester South, and this is why I did the video. Well, also because I want to fucking call out the utter propaganda of that whole fucking spiel. They're all promising the same thing, and it comes closest to it. You've got 2 options. It's either Labour or Tory. It's the way it's always been. Obviously, with Cameron, they let the Lib Dems in there for a little bit. And where is Nick Clegg now? Don't hear of that guy. Don't look, to be fair. I still can't remember that. You know that I did a video like weeks ago and I'm like, Theresa May, and then I'm like, oh, and there's that other blonde lady who was Prime Minister. I still can't remember her name. Weeks on, mate. I could just Google it, but I don't remember. I just remembered there. Anyways, I went to Jonathan Ashworth myself. I've met with this guy in his constituency office and whatever, and asked him for help. Because back in 2012, my son was abducted from me by his father, who was in cahoots with the high school he was at in South Wigston. I'll surreptitiously drop it in there. Anyways, I disagreed with something at school. 2 of the teachers had made him cry. So I rang up, made a complaint about these teachers. They rang my ex-husband, said blah, blah, blah. He said, right, let me tell you about her. Next day, they turned up on my doorstep. And they're like, literally, this dude sat there writing everything I said down, like a fat kid eating cake is the way I described it, right? He sat there, like, oh, this is good stuff. And they asked me all questions, why I disagreed with education and whatever. Said, well, for a start off, I've seen your deputy head walking around the park at night, drinking Tennant's super tea and talking to me about how he wanted to commit suicide. This was a fact. Literally, did I get in shit for pointing out that fact. I mean, he's probably not the deputy head now. Maybe he did top himself. I'm sure they've got somebody more mentally stable now. Literally, you cannot guarantee that teachers are mentally stable. They're human beings like everybody else going through a cost of living crisis. They just have to lie for a living. And that fucks with your head more than anything else. Anyways, shh. So I went to Jonathan. So they came out. They wrote this letter because my husband had decided he was going to nick my son that weekend, go for custody, which he did, and he got it for a year until the case, I sacked my solicitor, who was saying, no, you've got to agree with them. And I spoke for myself, and the solicitor's right, well, we'll have a contested hearing then. Let's see who's telling the truth. And I put all my information in on the day, and he just didn't. He just gave him back and said, no, I'm done. Right? But at the beginning, this high school in South Wixton wrote this scathing letter about me to put in for the court case, right? They are responsible, partly responsible for my son being taken from me. And it was lies. Literally. They brought Bono and Madonna into a court hearing me. Literally. They said that I'd said that Bono doesn't give the money he collects to charity. Why would I have said that? Like, literally, court believed it because it came from a fucking school. And if you work in a school, it's a job title that's seen as respected. Don't matter if you're a fucking raging alcoholic that wants to kill yourself. No, that your life is in fucking tatters and your missus hates you. It don't fucking matter. I do feel sorry for the dude. I hope he made it through. Do you know, he was really sad and whatever. I didn't know. Like, I came out and my son was like, oh, that's the deputy head from my school. I was talking to him and he's like, poor sod, he's just walking around, just drinking. And then we walked out together and he said something about hanging himself from a tree. And in front of my child that was at his school, I had, but that ain't even the thing that, you know, I was just sad for him. So I you know, like they were just asking me questions and you know what I'm like. But I'm honest about it. Do you know what I mean? I don't care who knows. But they told lies. And that got my son taken off me. So I went everywhere. And one of the places that I went was Jonathan Ashworth. Right? And he is Ashworth, isn't it? Yeah. And basically, he was like, oh, no, this is disgusting. This is horrible. This is. So he wrote a letter to them, and I got a copy of this letter. And he said, she says that she didn't say this. And all that happened from that, all the help that man got me, they wrote a letter back saying, I'm sorry, but we stand by our decision. And he went, sorry, love, no else I can do. He didn't fight for shit. And he could have won it like that because it was all lies. The second that I was allowed to have my voice in front of a fucking judge, sorted like that, he could have sorted it like that months before it got sorted. And he didn't. It was just like, oh yeah, can't be asked. Just can't be asked. I've written a letter for you. What more do you want? Don't matter about it that it's unjust. Like, don't matter to me. But he can he's gonna deliver economic stability. Ain't gonna try, he's gonna fucking deliver. Literally, it's all bollocks. It's all bollocks. And we need to start looking at this logically and seeing what we can actually do. Talking to each other. Because talking to each other, talking and listening, communication, free flow of communication with each other, rather than and listening to other fucking people like we've been taught to do from the age of fucking 4. So of course they want new fucking teachers, because if they don't get us from birth just believing that nothing can be done and that we're powerless, they're fucked. But you know what? We're not powerless. We just need to realise that we're not powerless, come together and discuss this logically and for the benefit of all. Because these people are just fighting. There should be only one political party where everybody has a say. The people who think Tories are right and the people who think Labour are right included. Because it needs the opinions of everybody so that we can sit and we can smooth down the pebbles so that we can all sit, or the bubbles, so that we can all peacefully coexist in a system that makes sense. I'm going to leave it there. I have waffled on for 25 minutes and I do apologise, but you know what I'm like when I get going. if you've stayed with me till the end, God do I owe you a bevy. Please call me out of it. Let's go have a beer. Or a cup of tea or coffee. Do you know what I mean? I'm not encouraging alcohol abuse, but, you know, if we get shit-faced, it would just be more fun. Anyways, yeah, if you're a subscriber, thank you for being here. If you're not, please consider doing it. And please consider giving me a thumbs up or whatever, just anything to, you know what I mean? Because I like to think that I have a little bit more common sense than them bastards. And they millions hang on their every word. And I get about, 50 views on a video if I'm lucky. And we need to be talking about this, in my personal opinion. If you're with me, let me know. Please leave a comment and let's keep the discussion going. And thank you for being here once again. And never forget that I love you all. Bye.